Hello, plant friends. So you guys have plants. You guys are afraid of bugs eating your plants. So in this episode, we are talking about bugs, pest control, elimination, maintenance, prevention, and joining us will be Jax. Jax is a plant hobbyist and plant seller in Tucson, Arizona. I had the privilege and pleasure of visiting with her and chatting with her for this episode, and we talk about pest control. So since you brought up gnats,
right?
You have a lot of plants.
Yes.
Again, we'll just like see your collection in a
Yeah.
bit. What do you do for bugs?
Okay, so I do a little bit of everything. I think the main thing is to create a routine, a preventative routine.
Right. Yes.
Yes, that's huge because I think so many people address the issue once it's already there.
Right.
And it's already there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
killing them when they're already there is harder than making sure they don't come in the first place.
Yes.
I always treat all of my plants every time I water with just like a little bit of neem oil just on the backs of the leaves.
Okay.
I don't always do the tops because a lot of them are under grow lights and sometimes that can be a little...
So when you treat, are you wiping or you
Yes.
spraying? You're wiping.
Yes.
Okay.
I will like wipe all the undersides of my leaves.
Do you use pesticides?
No.
You don't. Okay.
I do not.
All right. And the reason for that is.
Because they're pesticides and I
Okay.
don't want them in my home.
All right. Well,
And
yeah.
around me and my family.
Okay.
That's just a personal preference.
Right.
I use Captain Jack's dead bug for outside. So for aphids, for anything like that, I'll just spray everything down with Captain Jack's, and Captain Jack's is awesome.
So that's an insecticide.
It is an
Okay.
insecticide. Love Captain Jack's. It's all natural. It's safe for organic gardening. Big fan. It's not recommended for inside use. I'm not going to say I've never done it,
Okay,
but
alright.
it's not recommended. Or I do a neem oil, Dr. Bronner's mix for my indoor plants. For gnats, I do Mosquito Bits.
Okay. So explain to people who don't know,
Yeah.
and that I would partially put me
Okay.
in that group.
Okay.
What I've heard about these, but what exactly are mosquito bits?
Okay,
Bits?
so Mosquito Bits are basically stuff that you put in like water collection
Okay.
tanks to kill mosquito larvae.
Okay.
And
alright.
it also kills gnat larvae.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
So what happens is I put it in my soil. Some people will soak them and then water with the water that they soak them in.
Okay.
I actually mix them into the top inch of my soil,
Okay.
and I never see them really.
Okay.
ever.
You put them as part of your soil
Mhm.
mix.
Yeah.
And then you just forget about it.
Pretty much.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Big fan.
Yeah, I'm actually very cool with things you can just like do once and forget
Yeah.
about it.
I mean, you might have to do it
Actually-
again. And, like,
That's actually
sequence.
really smart.
Yeah,
I like
love
that
it.
though, because most people are going to be making their soil mix anyway.
Yes.
Right? Like
You should if you're not.
right. So
do.
so it's very minor effort.
Yes.
To just add some mosquito bits in there.
Totally.
That's genius. I'm,
Okay, so I learned that from JD, who I was trying to like get you to do
okay.
it, but he didn't want to do it. But that was something that I learned from him. And when I see so many other
That's so smart.
like put sand on top of yours, don't put sand on top of your soil. It compacts when you
Right,
water.
right.
It creates a layer. It allows no oxygen to get into the soil. That is so bad for your plants.
Right.
Do not do that. But like mosquito bits.
That's genius.
Who knew?
Mosquito
and they're like
bits.
$6
So-
for like a huge thing.
So I've heard about mosquito bits, and the way I've read about how to use them is like you said,
Oh,
you
the
soak
tea.
them.
Oh, I hate that.
You soak
Don't do
them
that.
like you soak them overnight in water, and then you use that water. And I'm like,
That's so time consuming.
right. I was like, I'm not.
I
You know,
have
that's
like 200 plants. I
yeah.
don't have time to like.
So, but that is genius. Okay, let's talk about things that have not worked.
Sand on the soil. I totally did that.
Okay, sand on the soil. Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. Like it compacts the soil.
It's
Have
terrible.
you ever used diatomaceous earth?
Oh no, I've never used it. I think it's ridiculous to like sprinkle things on your soil.
Right.
I mean, look, to each their own. If
That's
it works
so
for
fun.
you, great.
So diatomaceous earth,
I have.
for those who've never heard about it, is the theory is it's like powder,
Yes.
and it's supposed to be so fine that when the bugs like breathe
It like
it or
destroys their exoskeleton.
right, it like when they breathe it or eats it
But
or
they're
arounds it
gnats.
or something, like it kills them
Yeah.
because they're so fine and it enters their body.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's very cool. But then I thought, wow, a powder that's so fine that enters bugs' bodies and kills them.
That's like just my body.
Right, that's just like floating around your house. Has to be pretty. There has to be some risk if you have like severe asthma.
I'm pretty sure it's non-toxic.
Right. But still,
yes.
just like particles in the lungs when
Yeah.
you have like compromised respiratory systems or asthma. And then a friend told me that once those the diatomaceous earth gets wet, it clumps. So it becomes very ineffective when it's wet. And I'm like, oh, that's not very good when you're watering plants and also when you're trying to maintain high humidity.
Yeah, and also it'll grow like mold on it.
Right.
It's really great for like outside, like if you want to make a perimeter for scorpions, great for that.
Right.
Not maybe for something that you're
So diatomaceous earth is something that likes failed.
I hear all kinds of crazy things.
I've tried the neem oil. I'm not a fan just because it takes a lot of effort to do it.
It does take a lot of effort.
I think that people who one don't mind the smell,
I don't mind the smell.
and then two is if it's part of a therapeutic thing, you know, like you enjoy wiping the leaves.
Well, it's preventative also.
Right.
It's not.
I'm saying like the process.
It also just doesn't kill bugs.
Right.
It's a preventative. So the neem oil itself is supposed to like keep them away. It doesn't kill the larva of most things.
Yeah, right.
And it won't like, even with like spider mites, you know how they like go under the leaves. It's just a preventative. It's not going to keep them from coming back if they're already on your plant.
Right. Have you ever tried the yellow gnat stickers?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I've tried that, and like they are effective, but they're all like the more.
They're also gross.
I would say like the more gnats you have, the more effective they are.
Yeah.
But
you just see them.
But it just doesn't. It's not a. It's just a control. It really doesn't prevent, right? Because
I think it's great for catching the adults if you're trying to also kill the larva.
Yeah.
So if you have a huge outbreak, use the traps for the adults. Do the mosquito bits for the soil. I guarantee you they'll be gone.
Right. I don't think that. Yeah. I think that like as a singular therapy or monotherapy, I don't. Like it just doesn't.
No,
if you think about it logically, it just doesn't make sense. That
No.
it would, right?
Because the babies are still in the soil, and
Yeah.
they think they can lay like 80 eggs a day
Yeah.
or something ridiculous. Like every female.
Right.
That's a lot of eggs.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I always respect. I have so much respect for people who have a large collection and they're able to control their bugs.
Mosquito bits.
And even mosquito bits is like that boggles my mind. So what do you do for like spider mites?
Oh god, I freaking hate spider mites, but we get them a lot because it's so dry and they like dry.
Yeah.
Right? So like, once again, it all goes back to the routine, right? So like, every time I water, I look at my plants and I really look at them.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And you want it, the earlier you catch it, you know, you've seen the pictures, right? Of like someone, they post a plant picture and the whole thing is covered in a web. I know you've seen it.
That describes one of my plants like a couple weeks ago, actually.
Okay, no, but like, how did you not know that it was that bad before it was that bad? That's always so impressive to me.
As a person that has happened to,
Yeah.
I will say some of us don't look at our plants.
You gotta look at your plants
all that often, and I think that some of us do, and it's always better to catch it early.
Yes. And with spider mites, you just treat it every 3 days. Like, so if I do find spider mites, I like rinse them off with water. So I'll hold the plant upside down in the pot.
Okay.
You know, so I'm holding the roots in. And I'll really rinse off the whole thing with water because it rinses off the spider mites.
Right.
And they go away. And then you just do that every couple of days, and then I just do the neem oil.
Right. Yeah. I will say I am not very good at looking at my plants on a daily or even weekly basis. So usually when I catch the spider mites,
they're out of control.
They are a lot out of control. So
you can still spray them off.
Right. I normally do. Yeah. I kind of wash them, and then I do. Sometimes I don't even wash them because I'm lazy, and I just spray them with some like spider mite insecticides or
does it work?
miticides. Oh yeah. The insecticides I do insecticides just because I think that I don't believe that they're that harmful
Right.
to people.
Right.
And then also they're just like so effective.
Right.
I think like if you're talking about the best bang for your buck, the best like time or the best like efficiency, it's hard for me to think that there's something that's better than insecticides. Sure, you can do like organic, you can do like not, you can like there's plenty of options to choose from, but I think it's hard to beat the time and money efficiency of it, especially for me who I don't look at my plants.
Yeah, I usually catch it so early that I mean, I've never had a plant covered in a web, but I mean at that point, and spider mites actually cause damage too.
Right.
So they actually eat your plants.
If you're not inspecting tons and tons of plants, or you have a large collection where it's impossible for you to like inspect every single plant regularly, what I would recommend from personal experience is that you should check the most delicate plant within like a certain like area.
That's true, and because they're also more susceptible to the damage. Yeah.
So the spider mites will tend to chew up the plants that have more sensitive leaves or stems that aren't as tough.
Yeah.
Those tend to attract way more spider mites. So the spider mite infestation that I had recently was I had a basil plant.
Oh yeah.
And that just like, oh my gosh.
My stuff over there gets aphids all the time.
Oh my gosh, my basil plant just like it went from 0 to just a spider mite nest.
That's like the least. But the basil's so easy, at least. And
right? Yeah.
At least it's not like some big expensive plant being murdered.
But
by
it
was
just wrecked, and I think
just
I
sprayed it down.
I just threw it away.
Yeah, I've definitely done that.
It was. I don't even think it was worth saving. And the thing with basil, the reason why I threw it away was that like I'm gonna eat the basil.
Yeah, you're not gonna spray it.
Right, yeah. So I wasn't going to. Right, I wasn't gonna like just like spray the whole thing with insecticides and saying, okay, you're cool now, and just eat the basil.
Yeah.
So I think So I do a lot of insecticides. It seems like neem oil and regular.
Just regular inspection. I'm more of a, like I said, on the preventative side than the treating once already there.
Right. I totally agree with the prevention. I think like I get so the question when I talk about insecticides or pest control, a lot of people ask is like, especially with insecticides, they're like, how much do you use? Right? And it's like, you know, do you use this much or that much? And they're afraid of like not using enough
or too much.
Right. And I think that's less of an issue than just regular maintenance.
Yeah.
Like you can, you know, like if it says like 1 teaspoon or tablespoon per gallon and you use half that, that's.
But you're doing it every time.
But you're using it, but you're using it regularly. That's way more effective. The regularness of it, is way more effective.
Have
for
a
pest
watering
control.
routine. Just look at your plants.
But the spider bits in the mosquito bits and the mosquito bits in the soil mixture.
That was like a life-changing.
That is like blowing my mind. I'm like I
don't have any gnats.
Yeah, I can't believe I haven't like people have not. I've not even thought about that, and that just becomes like super obvious, common sense.
Right.
That's I'm like wow.
I mean, for the money too.
Yeah.
It's like easy fix, and you really only need like 1/8 of a teaspoon for like a big.
Oh yeah, I mean you don't even need that much because it like dissolves. Does it dissolve?
It dissolves, and so every time you water the plant, it dissolves a little bit more, and it just goes into the soil, and the gnats eat the soil, the decomposing parts of the larvae.
Right.
Eat the decomposing parts of the soil, and they just eat it and die.
Okay.
They never even make it out.
That's
just take
that
the
is
source.
Genius. Yeah. That is genius. So the neem oil. For like what's on the leaves, you regular inspection for the bugs that's on the leaves, the mosquito bits for the larvae that's in the soil, and you seem to have like a pretty pest-free place. It's
pretty nice.
I mean that's nice.
I have to work for it. But yes.
Right. Yes. Yeah. You are working for it. I think that there is a lot of effort that goes into that. Yeah. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you guys found it useful, if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, thumbs up and stuff. Comment below about your pest control regimen. If you have one, what you use, what works, what doesn't work. Yes. Oh, follow Jax on Instagram and support her. She is PAX_plants on Instagram. Oh yeah, if you want to support this channel, do the YouTube stuff. Buy a plant T-shirt if you want to buy a plant T-shirt. Till next time, happy planting.